Hello, everybody. I am James Chubb from eDirectory, and welcome to today's webinar. We have with us Emerson and Gabriel from our marketing team and Daniel from our operations. So we're excited about today's webinar. We're going to talk a little bit about conversions in Hotjar, an important topic. If anybody has any questions during the webinar, if you can just pop them right into the live chat, we will stop periodically and answer any questions. I hope everybody can hear okay. So to get started today, a little bit about eDirectory just in general. It is a system to build online directory sites. It's used for all sorts of different purposes, from local guides to niche vendor directories. A lot of media companies, especially B2B media companies, use the systems to generate additional revenue. All sorts of startups are using the products for all sorts of things. You can import data. There's a content manager where you can drag and drop widgets around. It gives you quite a bit of flexibility. And the big feature of the system is that sponsors, listing owners, can claim their listing, check out through the process, all automated, and you can collect payments via credit card, etc. So today we're going to talk about a little bit more on the marketing side, some of the conversions and stuff. And so with that, I'll turn it over to Emerson.
Okay, thank you, James. So today's topic is conversion rate optimization. But what is this? This CRO stands for conversion rate optimization. Is the process of optimizing your site and pages based on visitor behavior. The goal is to improve the probability of the visitor taking desired actions, such as subscribing to a newsletter, visiting a set of pages, or even subscribing to a paid plan. A successful CRO campaign is one that uses in-depth data to analyze results, runs multiple tests, tweaks content to make it more relevant to the visitors, and draws necessary conclusions. Basically, there are two main elements to be optimized. One is the design. That's how they will perceive the content they are looking for. And the copy, that's what will capture their attention and will persuade them to take the action. And talking about directory-based websites, you must also think about two verticals of optimization. The conversion for visitors, driving them to your premium contents, and conversion for potential advertisers to drive them to sign up for a plan or to upgrade a plan, for example. But how do you get data to analyze user behavior? Well, you can use Google Analytics, so you can check for demographic stats such as gender and location, the most visited pages, and the exited pages. That's where your users leave your website. These are great for a starting point to see the visitor's journey and formulate your initial hypotheses. But that's not enough. There's a tool called Hotjar that captures user behavior and presents the results visually, so you can really see how your website is being used. This tool gives you visual insights into how your users are interacting with your website, where they click, how they scroll, and how far they see your pages. It's important to highlight that we are not affiliated with Hotjar. It's just one of the tools of our mix. There are several similar tools out there, free and paid, and they will do the same job. Two of the reasons to choose Hotjar for this webinar is that it's a tool that we use internally, so we know it, and because it's really used to install it using Google Tag Manager. So let me share my screen to show you the process since having the account on Hotjar and installing it through Google Tag Manager. So let me just pull my screen here. 1 second. Okay, I believe you can see my screen now. Okay, perfect. So this is the tool. It's hotjar.com. When you create your account, you'll be prompted to put your website URL, and in the end, you're going to get an ID. So you have I have here my user ID. Oops, let me just go back to the screen. I just clicked it accidentally. Okay, we go to settings. Okay, here's my Hotjar ID. So I copy this ID, then I go to Google Tag Manager. Inside Google Tag Manager, I'm assuming you already have your account created, your container created, and integrated with your eDirectory. It's a pretty simple integration. So inside Google Tag Manager, you just go to the right project, the right container, and click here, add a new tag. Talking about Google Tag Manager and tags, let me just recap a little bit. Tag is a piece of code that trigger any actions inside our website, getting external data or driving data to external tools. And the trigger is the configuration where this piece of code will be displayed. So if it's a page view or another event inside your website, it's pretty simple to use that. So now creating a tag for Hotjar, you can just put here a name. Let's put Hotjar. And here on tag configuration, you can go here on this magnifier and type Hotjar. There is a pre-made tag here for Hotjar. So now I just paste my Hotjar ID here. I don't need any advanced settings to use this. So for the trigger, I'm going to use all pages. So it's a page view type of trigger. So every time a page is displayed in my website, the Hotjar code will be activated, which means that every single page view will be recorded into my Hotjar account. So you save the tag, then you can just submit and publish the changes on your container. It's pretty simple. So after a few minutes, Hotjar will start recording the activities on your websites. Pretty simple, right? So that's it. So creating an account on Hotjar is free. Of course, there are paid plans with more features, but the free one, it's very simple to use and to start learning and see how much we can do with Hotjar. So now Gabriel will show what Hotjar can do for your project and the types of insights it will provide you. Gabriel, please.
All right, thank you, Emerson. So hello, everybody. Gabriel, and I will show you how Hotjar can be important too when it comes to reading between the lines of the actions that users take on your website. So as Emerson explained it earlier, Hotjar is a tool that allows website managers in general to understand the behavior of users in a portion or the entire website. Okay, I will share my screen. Moment. Yes. Okay, I think you can see my Google Tag Manager page here. Is that right? Okay, so yes, Emerson just mentioned how you can install a tag with the Hotjar tracking code. So it's quite simple. You just have to go to Hotjar, which is hotjar.com. And once you sign up for Hotjar, they will give you a number that is going to be that tracking code that Emerson just mentioned. Is the Hotjar ID, site ID is this number. So Hotjar will give that to you. You just implement it and hit submit. So that's already installed on eDirectory. Just to clear out, it's right here where you're going to set up your tag manager. And this is the Hotjar tag. Okay, so inside Hotjar, once you have signed up and have everything rolling, you're going to create a workspace. For the sake of this example, we're going to use our demo directory website, which we have created here. Okay, So what Hotjar does, the most common use for Hotjar is the heat map tool, which is this one, heat maps. With the heat map tool, we are able to see the actions users take on our website, in this case, our demo online directory that I just showed you. And you can separate them by clicks, by move, or by scrolling. So here's the example of our homepage. Let me stretch the period a little bit more, last 12 months. You click apply. You can actually track whatever page you want. So I'm just tracking the home page right now, but you can check your listings page, your contact page to see where users are going and everything. So this is the heat map. So it shows you where are your users clicking the most on your website. The red it gets, the more clicks you have. For example, the red color, it means you have more clicks in here. You can scroll down, you can see which listings or which images are getting your users' attention and why are they clicking here. Perhaps you can try to experiment more. For example, this image right here is not drawing too much attention. Maybe you could change that for a person, maybe a plumber working. That would be more, I don't know, you could attract more clicks for this listing. And also the text as well. You can try to increment your text on your copy, and you can really get an idea of how your website is being presented to users and what are the parts that they think are more attractive. So this is the heat map tool. I will show you the moving tool. So this tracks the mouse movement from the user while they are navigating your website. So once again, I'm in the home page of our demo website. So all of these are hovers. All of these blue things right here are mouse movement from users. And you can see that probably we have a lot of movement here in this red area and the yellow area. Same we have for this corner right here. So there's a lot of movement here. And once again, you can read this message as what are the parts of my website that users consider to be more attractive. And the scroll tool, this one is quite important because it shows you how long, how far actually users scroll down to your website. So let's say, so this is the main fold, as we like to call it. So 100% of users, they always see this fold right here. So this is the most valuable part of your website. So this right here is the most, is the part where you can really select what kind of images you want to show up in the image slider, the names of your links. So this is a place where if you monetize your website, you can charge a little bit more for listing owner to be placed in here. So below that fold, you see that we have an average of 65% of users reach this point. So almost 50% less than this one, than this part. And as you scroll down and down, it gets blue and colder until you reach the bottom, which just 25% of users reach it there, this point, and right down 20%, and it goes less and less. Okay, so it really gives you a clear vision of how users interact with your website. So once you combine the clicks, the movement, and the scrolling, you will understand how you can actually make your site look better and more attractive to your customers. Okay. Well, for the presentation of this tool is pretty much it. We have, I guess, a blog article on how you can install Hotjar as well. So it will be available on our blog. And the thing is, you can take these insights and make tests. So you can change images, you can change the color, you can change, I will show that later as well. You can make tests, for example, okay, I want to see if I change the color from my search button from blue to red. Would there be an increase of clicks on this button? I don't know. So we can use Hotjar to test that. You can leave, for example, a red color here, and you can change the images on your listings and give it like 15 days, 30 days for testing. And then you go back to Hotjar and then you compare the previous 30 days with the period before, and you can check if the blue button or the red button converted the best. So that's the goal of the optimization of your conversion rates. Okay, so I would turn over back to Emerson, and then we can catch up later.
Okay, thank you, Gabriel. We have a question from Johannes. Does Hotjar work also with level 5 subcategories in eDirectory, or does it work only with the start page? It works on every single page of your website. It's important to highlight that it does not record third-party tools such as live chats. It won't record what people type in protected fields such as credit card details, passwords, and it's also GDPR compliant. So you can use it from anywhere you are, so your users are protected as well. But if you are using that, it's good to mention this on your privacy policy, because it is important to let your users know that you have this tool installed in your website. So you can record every single page. For this webinar, we are just showing how it works on the home page, so you have an idea of how Hotjar works in the real world. So moving forward, now you have an idea of what this type of tool can do for you. Let's see what's next. First thing, as Gabriel mentioned, is give some time to Hotjar to collect a good amount of data. This way, your decisions will be more accurate. Draw a plan based on hypotheses, not on opinions. Everybody has an opinion, and that's okay, but without an hypothesis, you don't have a clear definition of what you are testing and why you are testing. So experiments should be data-driven. Define clear goals. Not only they measure the success and failure of an experiment, but the key learnings and insights we derive from our experiments can become future tests. So measurement tracking. Tracking is the actual measurement of your goal. For example, form submissions, button clicks, link clicks, pages visited, etc. Be sure to have the initial set of data in place before writing your hypothesis and launching your experiment. So you can have Hotjar installed, collecting data. From this, you are going to create your hypothesis in your initial experiments. And the most important tip from conversion rate optimization experts is be patient and let the experiment run its course. So don't rush. The results will come, and more data you have, the better will be the experiments. So now let me just suggest some experiments for your sites. One, based on design. You have all the freedom to add and remove and reorganize the widgets from your pages at any time, and also the flexibility to customize their colors, fonts, and most of the times the labels also. So for site visitors, you probably want to optimize the home page first. So check what's the most valuable content you have and how it is distributed on the page. So for the testings, you can check how the navigation bar is being clicked, and consider adding, removing, reordering the menu items. You can also consider changing the labels as well. You can test longer pages versus shorter pages. For example, if you see that a button is not being clicked, you can try to label write the label on capsulars, for example, to drive more attention, or change its color. All these tests are possible using eDirectory and Hotjar. And both changes can be done quickly on the page editor. So later, you can move to the other important pages, such as the categories and the results page. And what about the listing detail page? Yes, you must analyze that as well. The test here could be more complex depending on how you designed your listing templates. But it's the same idea. Just check how it is. How is the current interaction versus the desired interaction on the listing detail page. You want more clicks on your advertisers' phone number or on their images, on the tabs on the listing detail page. It's up to you to define the design and to change it later. But if you're going to test changes on any listing template, be sure to not delete any widget or custom field, as it cannot be restored and all existing data could be lost forever. So, of course, you can ask to restore a backup copy, but losing data would be inevitable. So be sure to not delete any important widgets or custom field on your listing templates. Second, for the advertisers, the main page to analyze is the Advertise with Us page. You can also check the navigation and CTA, the call to action on the home page, on the navigation bar as well. You can check if they're clicking to see all the plans available, if they're seeing the entire page, or if any of your offers are not visible. You can consider changing the CTA for the sign up button on the navigation. You can consider adding a FAQ or a better text on this advertised page describing better your project and your offers, and the benefits of being listed in your website. You can consider using different types of pricing widgets depending on how the users interact with your contents. Other than that, we have also suggestion for the copy. So not just the design and colors are important, but the text on the pages and buttons too. By text, I mean I mean the tone and also the fonts, not just what's written. So to succeed here, you must develop persuasive writing. It has everything to do with understanding your target customers and what they are looking for. Once you are sure about their needs, you can speak their language and convert them much more easily. But with that in mind, you can explore all the widgets available, such as feature categories, the jack of all trades cards widgets, the call to action widgets, sliders, header navigation, FAQ, the custom content widget for HTML inputs. Everything you have available, you can test. You can even draft your ideas before testing them. Tests.
An example of different colors on buttons or on text to see which one converts more than the other. So if I could give you a tip of advice, it would be to have a first batch of data, as Emerson mentioned. Don't just assume that the red color is better than the blue color and vice versa, just because you think your clients like that. No, have a decision based on data, okay? So, for instance, you can change. So this is our, again, our base directory website. You can change pretty much everything. You can change the colors of your buttons, of your background, and the links as well. So, and then once you change that, give it time for Hotjar to a period of time, at least 15 days. We would recommend that before changing it again. And then you can measure, okay, so the changes I've made on my website regarding the color of the buttons, instead of blue, I want to try green or red. I want to change these images for more eye-catching images with more people on it to see if it gives me more clicks on this. I want to change the copy. Maybe the copy is the text that you are trying to persuade someone when you read it. Maybe you're trying a shorter text or maybe a longer text format. Once again, it's a matter of trying and error, and then you start to see an improvement on your conversions based on that, okay? It will take some time, definitely, And one good thing that you can do with eDirectory is that you can move, easily drag and drop all of these widgets up and down, removing and add new ones. Because if you see that, okay, I want to get more signups for my newsletter, but people are not scrolling down all the way here, perhaps I can drag this up, since Hotjar showed me that people are most likely to scroll maybe 1, 2, 3 times. Maybe I should move the widget up a little bit, okay? And once again, so if you want to change the colors and the font of your website, of your eDirectory website, just log in onto your dashboard. Then you go to content, design, colors and fonts. Okay, so you can change everything here. Let me give you an example. I want to change that to red. Okay, and then you can save it. And it should be live on this, just refresh your website, and that's it. And you can easily change the button color from blue to red. Okay, so that's quite simple. And give it a try. Let the website run with these new changes that you've made for 15 days, 30 days, and then you come back and check the results on Hotjar, remembering all these tips that we gave you. Okay, analyze both the clicks, the hover, and the scroll down. Okay, yeah, that's pretty much it. We will open now for questions. Feel free to put your questions in the chat.
Great. Let's see. We had a comment come in. Your webinars are always very good. It's a pity that you do webinars rarely. Can you please do 2 webinars per week? You're the real experts. I hear you. Thanks for the compliments. We'll see what we can do to increase the frequency of the webinars. Really, we want to put together good content, and so you know, there's a limit to, I guess, you know, how often or what we can do. But certainly noted, and thank you very much for that comment. And then a question just in general, how can I do A/B testing using Hotjar?
I can answer that.
Okay.
Probably Hotjar won't offer a tool for direct A/B testings, but Google Optmize, which is a free tool, offers that. There are a lot of other paid tools that also do A/B testings. But from our own experience, I can say that this could increase the load time of your website. So be careful when using this type of tools, because you can get the opposite effects, driving people away from your website instead of increasing conversion rate. So you can do that using this free tool from Google called Google Optmize, and it can also be installed using Google Tag Manager too.
Okay, so hopefully that answers that. And if you research online, you know, how to do A/B testing on a website, there's a ton of resources out there that you can use. With Hotjar, obviously, you can set up Hotjar, put the key in, and then Hotjar is running, and then run it for a period, then change it to the second, you know, run it for period A, and then a week later change it to B, and then you can see the results off those two and compare the differences. So that's how you do it in Hotjar. Question from Kevin. I missed the first part. How do you track? Yeah, so there's a free tool called Hotjar. We just went through it. You can check it out. Basically easy to include, and it'll record basically mouse movements and clicks on the website. You know, people how people are seeing things above, below the fold in a web page, etc. So great. Any more questions? You can ask about this topic or anything else. Happy to answer what we can here. Does eDirectory work with other heat map tools? Yes, absolutely. Basically, you can put in any kind of tool you want using Google Tag Manager or just pasting the snippet of code that integrates the tool into the page. So yeah, it'll work with a lot of tools out there. Lots of people are using eDirectory for all sorts of things with all sorts of platforms. Absolutely. All right. How can I create custom fields? Yeah, so there to create custom fields, basically you log into the site manager, and in the listing template section, there's some options in there to do that. I think probably the easiest thing for us to do at this point would just be to send a quick KB entry for that one that shows exactly where to click to create a custom field. But basically, in the administrative area of the website, you can go in and edit the listing template, and then that will allow you to create a custom field there. I don't know if one of you guys can paste in the link to KB entry.
I can share my screen and show you in 2 seconds.
2 seconds? Okay, great. Go ahead, Emerson.
Okay, so let me put it here. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so you go here on the content section. You can click on listings, and then you go to listing templates. So now you pick the list template you want to create a custom field. Let's say to dentist, for example. So here at any part of this editor page, this is the listen detail page for the category dentists. You just click on this plus button. Let me pick one type of field that can be duplicated. Oh, this one, I love this one, checklist. So let's put a label. Credit card accepted. An icon, and now you can put Visa, for example, and then Amex, Capital One. Oops. Okay, you don't need to put a placeholder, but you can do if you want to. It helps the advertiser to fill in the fields or to check this check mark here to make it available. So here you just created a custom field for checklist, but you can create text custom field for text, for features, which is an icon plus description and another kind of fields here. But basically this one for more details you can put as well. Let me just show you what I have here. So it works similar, but it's not a checklist. It's just the label. You can hide the label from the front end. It's pretty flexible to cover the most of the needs we have for our customers. Pretty simple.
Okay, let's see. Is there a bulk import CSV file for categories and subcategories until level 7 subcategories? Yeah, there is a bulk import. Basically, when you import listings, it will create the categories and subcategories with those listings. And so that's the easy way to get them in there. And I don't know that we have 7 levels of category. I'm not sure exactly how many levels we have offhand, if it's 4 or 5 or something around there. But our support team can help you with that. With that thing. There's also another way, I think, to import just categories if you want to do that. But typically we recommend importing them with the listings so that there's actually data instead of just empty categories in there. Hopefully that answers that. But if you have more questions about that, just reach out to our support team and they can certainly walk you through what you need to figure out here. Did I understand that correctly, that every custom field must be created within the widget? Yeah, that's typically how that stuff is done. But if you're looking to do something different, I'd recommend reaching out to the support team and they can look at what you're trying to do and find a way to get that done. Let's see, create empty categories. Okay. I'll see if we can send you a link on how to just add the categories by themselves. I think it's in the categories area in the site manager. Where do we add the Hotjar tag if we already use Google Ads and the header or the banners? Kevin, the best place to add the Hotjar tag is actually using Google Tag Manager. So you put the Hotjar tag into Google Tag Manager and Google Tag Manager interface, and then Google Tag Manager is hooked up to your eDirectory site, and that's typically how people manage that. Question, can you send me the CSV template? The CSV template is actually downloadable in the site manager where you're doing the import. So log into your admin section, your site manager, and then under import, you'll see an option there that says download template file for the CSV template. And if you use AdSense tag and banners, can the customers still run banners? Yeah, I think you can set up different banners for AdSense as well as just custom banners for that in the banner section. Okay. Yes, but it's not. I'll see if I can get you some info on creating the empty categories. Give me 1 second here. If anybody has another question, go ahead and pop it in there. Okay. So if you go into content, listings, categories. So if you log into our demo here, let me see if I can just share my screen real quick so that I can show you where to add the bulk categories, empty categories. Okay. Let me just share. Give me 1 second. Okay. All right. I hope everybody can see my screen now.
Yes.
So you're logged in, and then basically you click on listings here at the top, the content section, listings, and then there's a categories option in the middle here. And then on the right, you'll see bulk creator. And basically this allows you to do, it's up to 5 levels of categories. So this is you just put in this sort of arrow symbol between them and write them in a list, paste them in there, and then boom, hit add, and it just adds all of them empty. Also, categories are also added, as I mentioned, when you import listings, and it's a good idea to do it that way as well for that. So hopefully that answered that question. How can I expand it to level 7? Reach out to our to your account manager. I don't know if that's Daniel Storm or Darvin. And they can see there's going to be probably some custom development involved in just extending it from 5 levels to 7. I don't think it's a big job at all to add more levels of categories if you really need those. Also, I would really think about, do you really need 7 levels of categories just from a user experience? Because that's some pretty deep browsing there as far as that goes. And if you look at that user experience, it may be at the end of the day, you may not actually end up wanting to do that. Even if you have 7 levels, you may just put, probably they're going to be pretty thin at the bottom of the level with 1 or 2 listings in each. And it may just be, you don't need that other level. There's some other things you can think about doing that instead of filtering search results. We could possibly set up some type of a tag thing, something else like that. But this is certainly depends on your data set. So I'd recommend reaching out to your account manager, and we will be able to see, looking at your data, and if it's like a very large, broad set that goes very deep as well, you may want to make some decisions about how it's done. Whereas if it's a smaller set that goes really deep, we can give maybe some advice on that. But as far as how that's done, it may be that something else is better, where some other tagging field or something is created instead of putting it down 7 levels. So I saw a question in here. Did I hear you say there's a limit on how many categories you can have? No, I don't. I think the system will take, obviously, you need to think about how many categories you want, but the system doesn't have it's how many levels of depth. It isn't how many categories you have in general for that. if you want to create millions and millions of categories, you may want to think about that, though. There may be some interface issues just in terms of like some scrolling or et cetera in various places. But any reasonable number, any large number should probably work really good. So yeah, no limit on the category piece, just on the level. Okay, I think I got all these questions. If there's any more questions, pop them in here. I hope I answered everything okay for this. For Johannes, I think the best thing for you is to reach out. Well, we'll have somebody contact you and just see if we can go through what you're trying to do and find the best result. It may be there's an easier way to get there using some other feature or something else, depending on that. Okay, great. Well, fantastic, everybody. I guess that's it for the questions. Thanks, more webinars. Okay, got it. We'll see what we can do there. All right, so thanks, everybody. Don't hesitate to reach out to our support team. We're working hard on the product and trying to keep the service tip top. So everybody have a great day and contact us if you need anything. Thanks a lot.
Just one last reminder, James.
Okay.
The next webinar will be about revenue strategies for online directories. I just posted the link to our registration page. You can go right now and sign up for the next one.
Okay, great. Great. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.